KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger, a public affairs program featuring stories from all over the Central Valley with Sevag Tateosian, 90.7 KFSR.
I'm your host, Sevag Tateosian. Welcome to the Central Valley Ledger. We're recording out of the beautiful downtown Fresno studios of the Community Media Access Collaborative, Fresno and Clovis. It's right by the newly opened Fulton Street. Our guest this week is someone that I'm sure you've heard of. His name is Scott Miller, and he's with Gazebo Gardens.
Yep.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's great to be here. This building really is nice, by the way. I had not been in here since they turned it into CMAC, and I don't know why I haven't been, but it's awesome in here. People should come visit.
Thank you for that,
Yeah.
because we have so much technology in this room now. I mean, we have people shooting movies. We have people doing all kinds of shows like this.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, because there's a lot of cool stuff happening. And I would love to get you back in here with some plants or something to tell us proper gardening techniques, because I know you're the man when it comes to that.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I'll come back anytime.
So Scott, before we get into Gazebo Gardens and some of the other things that you're involved with, talk about yourself. I mean, I've seen you at Gazebo Gardens, I've seen you in the community, but I don't know too much about your background. Tell us about yourself.
I've been in Fresno almost my whole life. I started doing landscaping for a job when I was about 16, and thought I was just going to put myself through college doing it, but that was about 30 years ago. And I graduated from UC Santa Cruz. I got my MBA at Fresno State. Got a couple kids, you know, standard Fresno stuff. But Gazebo Gardens is where I work now.
You say standard Fresno stuff, but the things you're involved in are not what the standard people get involved in. I've seen your name on different boards, the Chamber, one of them, Storyland, Playland, which we're going to talk about in another one. Why are you so involved? Why do you care about this community so much?
Well, because I live here. But also, I think it's, you know, if you're lucky and you have a small business, well, whether you have a small business or not, but in my case, I've been lucky enough in small business that my job kind of pays for me to get into some of the other things that I'm interested in. And no, it's been, my whole volunteer career has just really been a lot of fun for me, and I have no regrets about any of that.
Gazebo Gardens.
Yep.
You own it with your wife. Tell us about Gazebo Gardens.
Gazebo Gardens, we bought it about 15 years ago. It is the oldest nursery between San Francisco and Los Angeles. It was started here in Fresno in 1922.
Wow. Congratulations.
Well, I didn't start it, you know, but thank you.
You're keeping it going.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun to work in a place like that. It's right at the beginning of Christmas Tree Lane, so there's a lot of kind of Fresno traditions that take place in there and around there. So we have a lot of fun with it. There's a guy who's worked there, Bill Welzenbach, has worked there since about 1980. So he predates us for a while, and he's sort of the he's not sort of, he is the Valley's leading expert on roses. So because of him and his history there, we've got a specialty of roses. So when you come, you'll see lots and lots of roses in there all the time.
And I have, by the way, just promotion.
Hey,
this is a promotion.
Dude, I'll take it.
I got some grapevines from there.
Yep.
2 grapevines several years ago. They're going strong. So talk about quality, and I bring that up because there's quality there, obviously. Talk about quality.
Well, that's one of the things it's obviously it's important to us, but just local business in general. You know, I live about a half a mile from where the nursery is, so the people who come in there are my neighbors and my friends, and that's really the great pleasure of having a local business, is that you do serve your friends and neighbors. So I wouldn't want to sell anybody anything they wouldn't be happy with later.
Can you imagine? Yeah, can you imagine? I got this from Scott at Gazebo. Can you imagine?
But also we are able to control a lot of the quality by growing a lot of this stuff ourselves. We have our grow yard is in Sanger, so it's about a 20-minute drive from
I didn't know
Gazebo.
that. So you have a grow yard in Sanger where
Yeah.
some of this stuff gets cultivated.
Yeah, where quite a bit of it, especially the roses, will come from Sanger, but a lot of the woody perennial type plants we do.
So the other thing that I really like and enjoy about Gazebo Gardens is Friday night we were looking for something to do.
Yeah.
True story, because I saw you there, so you know it's a true story.
Yeah.
Friday night we were looking for something to do, and we were with our kids, obviously, and we said, you know what, let's go to Gazebo Gardens. It was in the evening. I took my kids, 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. They weren't quite there yet.
Yeah.
And not only did you have a beer garden, but you had like food trucks and ice cream, and
Yeah.
so I felt comfortable. It's not everywhere you can take your kids and there be a beer garden and then food and stuff, but I felt very comfortable. People had kids, people had dogs. What's going on there on Friday nights, maybe even other nights?
Yeah, you talk about a piece of dumb luck. We we started doing that. In fact, we just had our 4-year anniversary of the beer garden. At first, when we started doing it, it was Friday nights, and then we just went to Friday and Saturday, and now we do Thursday, Friday, and Saturday all year long, except when it's raining. And just what a surprise for us, and just how lucky we feel. It's really become kind of a popular thing, and again, for us, it's really just all about being able to see the neighbors and see. Sometimes I'll be in there on a Friday night, and there'll be all these people, hundreds of people in there, just kind of being nice to each other and hanging around. It's honestly, everybody says, wow, how'd you come up with that plan? No idea. Had no idea.
And it was, we felt comfortable
Yeah.
there. And you know what? The thing I like about there is I didn't feel obligated to spend all my money there. Like, we went one time.
Then we did something wrong.
we went there. We got a little bit of something.
Yeah.
And I just didn't feel like I had to go and it's going to cost
Yeah.
a fortune. Maybe that's a better way to say it. So, the family-friendly aspect, is that something that you want?
Oh, of course, yeah. For the beer garden, there's never a charge to get in. There's always a band. There's always food trucks. The food trucks they're not part of our business. They're just located there for those nights. So obviously you got to pay them if you want something to eat. But
Yeah.
just to come in and hang around and walk around and listen to the band is always free.
Business. You're a local businessman.
Yep.
How can we support and strengthen our local businesses?
Just by recognizing that they are local and differentiating local businesses from other types of businesses. I think there's a statistic that I don't have right off the top of my head, but when you spend $1 at a locally owned business, how many more times that dollar circulates in the community than if you spend it at a nationally owned business? Not that there's anything wrong with nationally owned businesses, but you're asking me, so I think there's something a little bit different when you can walk into a business and meet the owners, and we're the types of businesses that will buy the shirts for the Little League team or donate a basket to your church or whatever it is. The local businesses are, I think, by and large, are there for the community. So when people recognize that and at least make a phone call, give us a chance to compete on price or whatever your criteria is, it's always appreciated.
You're on Shields and Van Ness.
Yep.
Is where Gazebo Gardens is.
Yes, sir.
A lot of companies have moved north or to Clovis. You decided to stay there. It feels like to me that you're proud to be there.
I love that neighborhood. In fact, if you were to take a map of Fresno and put a pin right in the exact geographic center of it, you'd be pretty close to Gazebo Gardens. No, it's been a great location for us. It's done well for us financially, but we're also proud that we have this almost 100-year-old nursery right in the center of the city. I can't say enough good things about our neighborhood, honestly.
One of the other things, Storyland Playland.
Yeah.
Tell us the story about how it almost disappeared and became a parking lot.
Well, I mean, there's myself and a few other people. I've always been, a Fresno guy. I remember going to Storyland and Playland when I was little, and it was old even when I was little. Playland started in 1955, and Storyland was added just a few years after that in 1964. And when I read in the news that it was closing, I went to attend a couple of public hearings, and one of them...
On your own initiative, you said,
well,
what,
yeah,
it's closing, I'm going to go check out what's going on. That's what I love, by the way.
Well, thanks, but there were a lot of other people there too.
Yeah,
so, and I saw a few of my friends there, and anyway, a few of us got together and at one particular public hearing, and I don't think it was ever really realistically going to happen, but somebody stood up in front of the lectern and suggested that it should be torn down and turned into a parking lot. And
that's scary.
And there were a little smattering of people who were kind of in agreement with that, and so a few of us just thought, well, no, we can't allow this to happen, and so that would have been 2015, and since then, a lot of people in the community have really gotten back behind it, and what I think you'd see, hopefully, do you bring your kids? I know you have
I have
kids.
little ones, and
yeah,
we enjoy it.
Yeah. So what I think people would see now is that it's improving a little bit all the time. We've in the past couple of years, we've raised over $1 million from the community.
Wow,
some of
congratulations on that.
Some of it's been in big increments, and some of it, one of the most fun things we did was we were able to partner with Valley Yellow Pages in 2015. This was right at the beginning of the Capitol campaign, and they put Storyland and Playland on the cover and put a little envelope in there. And we still, this is a couple of years ago, and we'll still get one of these envelopes every once in a while with like a little, folded, hand-drawn in crayon picture with $2 in it, So we've had everything from coins donated to up to a couple $100,000.
Every little bit counts.
Yes. And the park has some good things going on over this winter. We're going to get, Playland's going to get a new entrance.
Oh, wow.
Right directly across from the entrance from the zoo. And it's, I wish I had sent you the graphics so you could put it up, but it's going to be really, really cool. And we're going to, we have a new teacup ride, which has already been delivered to Fresno, and it's going to be installed over the winter as well.
Are these, I mean, most of this is volunteer dollars, aren't they?
100%. We don't get any funding from the city or the government.
So talk about a group of people coming together and making a change. I mean, it was so easy for that park to disappear, and now 100% of donations are funding it and making it move forward.
Well, and also notably for the past couple of years, it's been in the black just from operations too. So that's really important, and that hadn't happened for a while. So just the small amount of gate fees now are supporting the operations of the park, so that we can use donations to go towards capital projects like the ones I just mentioned. In fact, the next thing that people should probably brace themselves to hear from us soon, because the next thing that we're going to try to raise money towards is the story boxes at Storyland. If you go there, it's kind of an iconic thing. These keys, the little Storyland key, same thing since 1964, and the boxes are still original, and they're getting kind of glitchy, and they're still 1964 technology. So we are trying to raise money to keep the key, keep the look the same, but we want to do some kind of updated 2017 electronics for the inside of it.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, so those would cost about $4,000 a piece. So we're going to be trying to raise in the neighborhood of $55,000 or so to get those done.
And hopefully, people listening to this program
Well, that's the
gets
goal.
hear that call to action and make a donation.
That is the goal. Storyland Fresno, playlandfresno.com.
You know, I went to the zoo, I'm saying the other day, but it was
Yeah.
a couple of months ago, and it was in the morning. We wanted to beat the crowd. And as we looked at Storyland Playland, there were a ton of volunteers cleaning it up and just beautifying it. Talk about the work of the volunteers at Storyland Playland.
We've had some great volunteer groups over the past couple of years. Sometimes they'll come in a few at a time for one thing. Sometimes it'll be a corporate sponsor. I think Comcast brought about 300 people to volunteer, and that's the many hands make light work thing. So if anybody has a group like that that needs to or would like to do a half a day where we do a little landscaping project and have a barbecue at the end, ride the rides, we are always into that.
So there is a fee to get into Storyland Playland. Why is it important to collect the fee? Some people say, oh, it should be free, but others say, hey, there's some costs associated with running the Playland, Storyland Playland.
There's the board is all volunteer, and a lot of the work is done by volunteers, and the capital projects are all done through donations. But there are people who work there, and they've got to get paid, and there needs to be we need to set money aside for upkeep. But it is it's the mission of both of these parks to provide safe, low cost, family fun, and in the case of Storyland, education as well. And we always keep in the forefront of our minds as a board that the park really exists to serve one of the neediest populations of children in America. I mean, if you look at the poverty statistics within, a couple miles of Roding Park, we're literally serving some of the kids who need that escape the most. So we do have to charge something to keep it open, but it is very affordable for really every income level. And if you're in an income level where the $3 or to get in is not affordable, we will find a way to get the kids in there.
And you just want them in there, experience the park. And for some kids and some people, that might be a life-changing experience. You never know what they learn or what they see in the park.
It certainly was for me and for my family growing up. It was, and that's another reason why I'm so passionate about it. And another thing I should mention, there's never, to my knowledge and with our board, there's never a kid who hasn't been able to get in because of income, but we do have people who sponsor tickets. So we'll have some local businesses and individuals that'll buy a few hundred tickets to put aside, or they'll donate them to Boys and Girls Club or churches or things like that. So, so those types of sponsorship opportunities are always out there as well.
So there's a lot of ways people can get involved in Storyland Playland. You mentioned safety, and it's something that I definitely want to talk about because you've heard this. You've been around town for a very long time. You've been involved in a very long time. There's this whole, oh, it's in South Fresno near Highway 99. It's not safe. We're not going to go there. What say you, Scott Miller?
I hear that stuff a lot less anymore. And I think that the people who say that are becoming so obviously wrong about it that it's, and I know you feel the same way about downtown and this side of town as I do. I think that narrative is getting pretty tired, and that the people who really lean on that, oh, it's so safe, unsafe south of Shaw, I think that's, at this point, it's uninformed and mean-spirited.
Yeah, because there's some some places north of Shaw that are a lot worse than some places south of Shaw. You know, I live in West Fresno, and I love my neighborhood, my street, and I love the people on my street, and I trust the people on my street. So that whole narrative of a certain area, being dangerous, I don't know if it plays out. And I live in the Tower District, and in a little part of the Tower District that has some pretty high home values. And anyway, it's I love the whole city. I love the neighborhood I'm in. I love Roding Park. There's a lot of work to do
throughout the area. But
Why do you care so much? I mean, it seems like every time I see you, you're doing something for the community. Every time I see you, you've got the community, whether it's the chamber and the business community, Storyland, Playland, and children, whether it's Gazebo Gardens and providing kind of this hangout place, where people can go eat, drink, and have a good time. I mean, you could easily shut Gazebo Gardens on weekends and, just do the daily thing and, enjoy.
I don't know the answer to your question other than if you live in a place, I think you should either take pride in it or move,
Yeah.
Why would you live in a place that you didn't like and that you didn't want to make better? And you're out here doing the same thing.
So tell us a little bit about your business involvement in the chamber. So you were the chair for a while. Are you still involved?
I was the chair in 2012. So I'm one of the old guys in there now. And I still stay involved with the chamber. Yeah, I think the Chamber of Commerce is just another really great organization for Fresno. As a small business owner, one of the things that I really like about it is just the ability to have access to other small business owners and having been, I started my business when I was 16, didn't really have a lot of mentors at the time, so being able to associate with a lot of other small business owners through the chamber and bounce ideas off of them and hear the things that have been good ideas for them, bad ideas, or even just to sit and complain about things with other small business owners is great. That's been for me one of the greatest organizations to get involved with.
Circling back to Gazebo Gardens.
Yep.
I've been there multiple times. I didn't realize, I've never been in your cafe, and you just mentioned your cafe. So you've got a cafe in there. Talk about that.
It's called Cafe Van Ness. It's small, but it's right there at the front of the nursery. It's open every morning, 7 days a week, and from 7 a.m. till 2 p.m. And we get a pretty good crowd from the neighborhood stopping in for a cup of coffee on their way to work, or people in there to study. And if you get your coffee, you can just go sit out in the nursery. We got 2 acres there, so you can grab a coffee and go sit on some of the picnic tables that are out in the roses or whatever. So.
And are we talking like regular coffee, or are we talking fancy coffee drinks? What do you serve there?
It's fancy coffee. It's not just drip Folgers. No, we've got a few good roasters that we'll get the beans from, and we have some pretty popular drinks. They're all named after the streets around there. So the Brown, the Simpson, the Andrews, and they'll.
So you've had this at Gazebo Gardens, and I have not. I'm a coffee fan.
Yeah.
I've been out to your place several times, and you've had this there, and I didn't know about it. What am I missing?
What am I doing wrong is the real question. But yeah, come check it out.
I will definitely come check it out. So again, when do you have your beer garden and event for people to come out?
The beer garden event is every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. Admission is free. There's always a band. During the warmer season, we'll have about 10 or 11 food trucks, and over the winter, it's a lot more intimate in there. We'll get it down to maybe 5, 6 food trucks. But still, I'll put our food truck line up against any other food truck event in the area.
And you take pride in, what you do in that area, because you had some good, different also food trucks. You've had, different types of food too. So it's not like I'm going to go and there's only one particular type of food, right?
Oh man, that's the key to anything is to do what you love. I love to eat. I love to eat food truck food and walk around outside with a beer. So I've finally found the thing that I'm good at.
And then we're running out of time, but Is there something that the nursery is known for? Do you have like you mentioned roses, but what can I find in your nursery? All kinds of stuff.
Right. Hopefully anything you'd expect to find in a nursery. We try to, as often or to the extent that's possible, we try to either grow what we sell or source it locally. I think we have a really good selection of plants. We're the oldest nursery anywhere around here, and one of the oldest nurseries in the state. So proud of it.
How can people find out more information about Gazebo Gardens? Where are you located?
We're on the corner of Shields and Van Ness. Our phone number is 222-ROSE, area code 559. And our website is www.gazebogardens1922.com.
And finally, Storyland Playland?
That's playlandfresno.com. And yeah, I'd love to, if anybody is interested in any kind of service for Storyland or Playland, I would love to talk to them about it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. We're out of time this week on the program.
Excellent. Thanks for having me.
That's all for this edition of the Central Valley Ledger. Our guest this week has been Scott Miller, owner of Gazebo Gardens, very active in Storyland, Playland, and the local Chamber of Commerce as well. Thank you to the audience members who are listening to this broadcast on 90.7 FM, KFSR Fresno, and to those watching this broadcast on Comcast 93 and AT&T 99. We hope you enjoyed the program. Thank you also to the volunteer crew that made this production and every production possible. Their names appear in the credits after I'm done talking, actually. We are recording out of the CMAC studios in downtown Fresno, not too far from the newly opened Fulton Mall. By the way, if you see people wearing facial hair this month, it's Movember, the month for men's health. You'll notice my beard also going to be growing in the next couple of weeks. Hope you enjoyed the program. Tune in next week to a new edition.
KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger every Sunday morning at 11:30. For a complete program schedule, visit kfsr.org.